Well, happy Tuesday. We are talking about the potential for some heavy rain and some severe weather here on Wednesday. I know heavy rain, not something we've talked about much here in the metro. It's been kind of around us lately. But there are some things that could affect that severe potential tomorrow, and we'll talk a bit about that. But mainly some morning showers and storms that, if they last long enough into the midday, that could hamper severe chances in the metro and maybe focus them more to the southeast. But today we even have the risk of a couple of spotty showers or a few thunderstorms. This is 6 o'clock. Just enough instability, and we've got a weak front moving across the state where a couple of pop-up storms are possible. Looks like mostly just north of the Twin Cities, but there'll be one or two of those around, so don't be shocked this evening if you're hit by a quick downpour. Marginal risk of any severe weather with the focus mostly way off to the west, but that shifts tomorrow. And again, we'll talk more about that, but also some smoke the last few days, of course, in the sky. A lot of fires out west and just an incredible amount of smoke here across North America. And it is affecting the air quality occasionally, even in the Twin Cities. Most of the smoke is aloft, but when it wafts from some of those closer fires, then we start to get some air quality. So things are fine for air quality here. Everything in green is good, but like Fargo and into the Dakotas, we have poor air quality at times out there. And just as long as those fires are going, which no end in sight for that because the fire season's just starting to the west, we'll just see occasionally smoke wafting through, and you're going to see kind of those whitish skies for a while. Precipitable water tomorrow. This is the amount of water in the column of the atmosphere is really pretty high, in the 90th percentile tomorrow. So that means there's a lot of water in the atmosphere. Basically, when we're looking at precipitable water near 2 inches, you can kind of think of that as a thunderstorm could potentially create easily a 2-inch downpour or more. And so this is a blend of the computer models forecasting anywhere from 2 to 3 inches of rain potentially over the Twin Cities. Now, these are going to be thunderstorms primarily, and we know that if you get hit by several storms in a row, that's where it can really add up. And just 10 miles away, your neighbor could have half as many storms in a much different amount. So this is what I'm talking about with that morning convection or shower and thunderstorm activity. This is 10 a.m. tomorrow. The first round of showers and storms are possible. If that lasts too long into the afternoon, that may hamper, again, our severe chances, which will be primarily in the afternoon and evening hours if we can get enough sunshine and some energy going. But it does look as though storms redevelop here in the southeastern part of the state. So some questions still with the severe potential tomorrow, but the Storm Prediction Center has us in an enhanced slight risk from the Twin Cities into southeastern Minnesota, northern Iowa, western Wisconsin, and we haven't seen that much around here lately. So the chance of some actual storms. This is looking at the supercell index. Big in Iowa, but this particular model kind of has a secondary area close to us. Again, this is if we can get enough energy to redevelop in the afternoon. That's going to require those morning showers and storms to wrap up early enough into the afternoon hours. And again, if we can see some peaks of sun, or at least the atmosphere doesn't get worked over too much by those morning storms, and plenty of shear in the atmosphere too. And shear is important, either winds moving in two different directions or one faster than the other to help those storms organize those updrafts. So we do have the ingredients in place. And then we're talking about heat again. This is from the Climate Prediction Center. Excessive heat is what they're looking at into next week and next weekend. And I've been talking about this, the evolution of the heat dome. Again, it kind of splits and then redevelops here over the central part of the continent, which is not good for us. Models do differ a little bit as to where that develops exactly, and that will greatly affect just how hot we get in this next heat wave. And I've been showing the American model occasionally because it's been the most extreme. So I want to emphasize this is not a forecast. This is one model scenario that is on the higher end, triple digits for us. And when we compare some of the similar days, the American model goes out farther, but American model to the European and the Canadian models, it is warmer than those models. So are we going to hit 100, 110 degrees? Probably an outlier scenario, but we've seen these outlier scenarios happen in some spots to the west with the heat dome this year. So starting Monday, it looks like we're going to be near 90 degrees and probably near that or above it all next week into next weekend. The heat really building here and sticking around. So again, we're going to be on the edge of the heat dome, but if it forms closer to us, that could bring some of those more extreme temperatures, which right now look to be more into the western Dakotas and Montana. But today, pretty warm, upper 80s, little sticky out there. We got dew points in the low 60s. So again, just enough to produce some of those isolated evening storms tomorrow. Does look like a soak, or fingers crossed, we need the moisture. Unfortunately, it does come with severe weather in our warm season. We know that. And then we clear out pretty quickly Thursday. It looks like a gorgeous weekend, slowly starting to heat back up. Mid to upper 80s, so slightly above normal. May already be near 90 Sunday, but it looks like into the 90s next week. And why not? I guess we're in the statistically the warmest 2 weeks of the year, and it looks pretty warm next week into next weekend.